To all those Trump supporters who are against waiving student loan debt from students and from anybody who really can't afford paying back their student loans, because hello, we are going into a recession and making payments on your student loans is going to be way more expensive than what it was a couple of years ago. Biden wanted to waive all student debts. He wanted to wipe it clean for Americans, right? He wanted people to get a fresh start in society. So to all those people who think that everybody has to pay back their student loan debts because they paid back their student loan debts, just shows how selfish and how entitled Americans are. Because on one hand, you have some who think, well, if I had to pay mine back, you're going to have to pay yours back. Okay, I'm happy that you were able to pay yours back, but not everybody has that opportunity to even pay back their student loans. Not everybody has the job that they got their degree in because they can't find a job. Not everybody can afford a rent, a car, health insurance, and everything like that. Just because you think you got the upper hand in society doesn't mean that you have to also hold other people accountable. And if you're going to hold these people accountable to pay back their student loans, then let's hold this administration accountable. Let's hold Trump accountable. Let's hold Caroline Leavitt accountable. Let's hold everybody accountable. Let's just put everybody into debt and let's just file for bankruptcy. If you're really going to act like that, you can't sit here and say it's an eye for an eye because you're not holding other people accountable. You're just holding certain people accountable. I don't care that you went to school and you were able to pay off your student loan debts. And I don't care that you went to school 30 years ago and were able to pay off your student loans. 30 years ago, going to college was very affordable. So I really don't care what you have to say. People are struggling. This generation is struggling because of what you guys keep voting for. My generation is struggling, and my generation can't really get ahead because of you guys. I really don't care. I just don't care. There are people out there who need help, and we can give people help. But stop being so selfish and stop being so entitled. And it's always coming from white Americans. To all those Trump supporters who are...
Seems like a lot of people are upset about this student loan payment returning on May 5th. And I just have a question for you guys. If Biden never put out there that there will be a student loan forgiveness, would you have still felt same? Would you still have felt the same way? Because we all knew that if we were going to take out loans, that we would have to pay for them. I know many of you guys probably didn't have parents or guidance to teach you those things, and you were just recklessly just signing on contracts that you weren't supposed to. But I know most of us did understand that if we didn't graduate college, we would be left with a big bill. So, did you think that if you did graduate college, you wouldn't have been left with a big bill? Or I want to know really like what your thoughts are on that, because I know there was a lot of skeptics going around and family members and parents saying, "Hey, you have to go to college. You know, this is the only way you're going to make it. If you don't, then you're going to be working at McDonald's for the rest of your life and you're just going to go through these things." But did they understand the process of what would happen? Did parents understand that if they're not able to afford the loans, that they would also have to pay it back for their children? I'm really confused as to everything that's going on right now, and it's not a aha moment. It's not a good for you, but it's more so, what are we gonna do as American citizens to help the future kids not go through these same problems? Because I do feel like college education is very important, especially in a growing field such as a doctor, pharmacy, or the STEM program, any of those things, mathematician, any of those things. But I really, I really want to know, like, so a lot of you guys got degrees, and you're not working in the field that you're working in. Are you at least still making the amount of money that you're supposed to be making within that degree? Are you making less? Are you making more? And even if you aren't working in the degree and you are making those same amount, or the same salary as someone who is, why wouldn't you consider paying back your student loans? Me personally, I went to college for like 2 months and then dropped out because I was like, I don't want to pay 35,000, 40,000 for an associate's degree in what was it? What was it at the time? It was health management, health administration. I'd get an associate's degree in health administration. That would already put me in debt for like 30,000. And I was asking, I guess my guidance counselor or someone, and I was like, hey, if I get my associate's degree, will I be able to work in the field that I'm getting this degree in? And they're like, probably not. You would have to at least go back and get your bachelor's or your master's degree to get a well-paying job within that degree. And then after that, I was just like, no, 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 no. Y'all lost me on that one. You lost me. You lost me because why would you put me in debt or try to put me in debt? They didn't get the chance to. But why would you try to put me in debt for $30,000 and I can't even work in the field that I'm getting the degree in? So I just continued doing my pharmacy technician, and I found out that, all the new techs that were coming in, I was asking, oh, what did you do? And they were like, yeah, I went to college. I got an associate's degree. Some people even went to college and got an associate's degree for pharmacy technician. And I used to be like, what the fuck? Because I didn't go to college to get a pharmacy technician certification. I actually was put in a technical school program outside of during my high school years, and was able to complete it during my senior year and graduated from there, graduated from school, and I was working in pharmacy, and I've been in pharmacy for a long time. So once those technicians would come in and they're like, yeah, and mind you, they're like the same age as me, older, they're like, yeah, I got an associate's degree, or even some people even got a bachelor's degree. There's some people at my job who had a bachelor's degree. And there was this one girl, I had to tell her, you need to seek like a leadership position. I literally had to push her to get into a leadership position because she had a bachelor's degree and she was doing the same thing I was doing. And I was just like, even though I could have went after that position, to me, she was a great person. She taught me a lot of things, and her demeanor seemed more for leadership. Like me personally, I could have went for that position, but I wanted to do something outside of pharmacy. So I literally pushed her to go after it, and they gave it to her like this. I pushed a lot of people to go after a leadership position because it seems like they had these degrees, but they were working the regular jobs of people who didn't have degrees. So I pushed my husband, I pushed a lot of people into leadership positions because that's what I felt like they deserve. And I feel like if you do have a degree, or why are you not in a leadership position? Why are you not a manager? Why are you not a supervisor? um you know why are you not these things? Like, there's a lot of supervisors and managers, they don't have no degrees, they just have experience. To me, the system is rigged. I feel like, yeah, we do have a lot to learn and a lot to grow from, but in hopes that one day, you know one day we can do better. Like, one day we can um, be where we actually deserve. But yeah, let me know what you think. And also, I'll be honest with you. I do feel like, hey, if you're a student, if you have student loan debt, and the payments are starting May 5th, pay it. Pay it. Pay it, pay it, pay it. Like, at least start the payment, even if you got to do the bare minimum. I recommend that if you are trying to buy a home, if you want to keep your credit score good, if you want to do these things, put it on auto pay, set it and forget it, pay the minimum, and just rebalance out your budget, rebalance out everything as far as your income and what you're spending things on. Rebalance everything out and include your student loan. Now, even though I dropped out of college and I only went for like 2 months, literally 2 months, I still had a payment of $2,500. And guess what I'm doing? I'm paying it. I'm paying it because what I've learned while going through the process of buying a house is that if you're looking for an FHA loan, if you're trying to seek an FHA loan and you are late, behind on any student loan, that they are not going to give it to you. So at that point, you will either have to get a conventional loan where you have to put 10% down, or you'll have to work on your credit and rebuild it to the point where FHA can trust you to take out a loan. Because if they can't trust you with your student loan, if they can't trust you to pay back your student loan, they're not going to trust you with a mortgage. They're not going to trust you. So please be mindful of the consequences. If you bought your house already, you're settled, you're good, that's on you. I'm still not going to say it's okay not to pay your student loans. But if you have not bought a house yet, you're thinking of buying a house, you're thinking of owning a piece of property, land, or anything of that nature, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you pay your student loans, because if you don't, you will run into some trouble when it comes to lending, when it comes to getting a mortgage through an FHA or a government-backed loan. Okay? Have a great day, guys.
Let me get this straight. They made you go to college and then they made you take out a loan when you were 18 and didn't know what you were doing. So the amount of nonsense that I'm hearing on this app around the student loan repayment is crazy. And all it boils down to is lack of accountability. My daughter went to college. She went to Clark Atlanta. We didn't qualify for financial aid. And she would call me and say, Mom, my friends are getting credit cards and they're taking out loans. And I told her, because she was only 18, and when you're 18, you don't know anything. That's what you guys are trying to say. And I told her, as her parent, don't you dare take a credit card and don't you dare take out a loan. And let me tell you why. And we had a whole little conversation about loan repayment and FICO scores. So I don't want to hear that when you were 18, someone forced you to go to college and then made you take out a loan, because a lot of y'all are hundreds of $1,000s in debt, not from a 4-year college stint. It's because you went back to college as an adult when you had, when you knew what you were doing, because apparently when you were 18, no one told you what a loan was, even though you signed for it. Stop. Take accountability. No one cares that you have bills to pay and all these things. If you had a mortgage right now, you couldn't say, I'm not paying it. And then I heard people saying, well, a mortgage and an auto loan is not the same. I do agree that those student loans were predatory, 100%. They were at the campuses throwing Amex cards at these kids. But that doesn't give you an excuse for not paying your bills and not paying your loan back. Loans are not free money. Who did you think was going to pay it in the event you couldn't? I don't understand why there's so much discourse around these loan repayments. You took out the loan and you have to pay it back. And short of all of the little workarounds that you guys are saying, I'm just going to have my job pay me in a check and not direct deposit. Figure it all out, because all I'm saying is when you're looking around for workarounds to not pay your debt, that's speaking to your character. And I'm sure you guys don't care. But the lack of accountability that I talk about on this app is wild. And there is one group of people that are the ones making excuses. I didn't know what I was doing. I was only 18. They tell us that we have to go to college. Who's they? I don't understand. You were 18 and you didn't have a parent that you could ask for, hey, mom, hey, dad. So you were just away in college, just taking money and thinking that it was free. Pay back your debt. learn a lesson, and maybe teach your kids not to sign contracts that require you to pay back something. No one's coming to your rescue. The excuses, and especially from now, you're adults now, it sounds pretty lame that you're screaming on TikTok about having to pay back a loan you agreed to pay back. Again, loans are not free money. The fact that you were 18 and you didn't know what you were doing is lame, because you had parents. I would imagine there was some adult in your life that you could have asked for counsel around what a loan is. And then y'all went out and took out another one because a whole group of women, my color, want to take out and be MBAs. They want to talk about how they have an MBA. So you took out another loan. So you got loans and you got degrees in marketing. Were you going to work in marketing? You have like degrees in criminal justice. That was the hot one back in the day. Do you work in criminal justice? So now, because you don't work in the field that you got a degree in, not only are you mad because you don't work in that field, because you only picked that field because that was the hot trending thing, now you're mad because you got to pay the money back. My daughter wanted to be a forensic scientist because of the whole OJ thing and the glove don't fit. She was fascinated by it. And she's like, Mom, I'm going to go to college and be a forensic scientist. I'm like, okay, you go get me the newspaper on Sunday, because that's where the help wanted section was. And you show me all the jobs that are forensic scientists. She got the paper, not one single job. I'm like, pick a different major. Pick a major that you can use in any environment. She took a major in communications. And she's now in real estate, senior level of a survey company, and she uses her communications. So yeah, you were 18, nobody cares. You're not 18 now. Be responsible and don't teach your children to think that loans are free money. Let me get this straight. They made you go